What's going on, everybody? Zxevik here, bringing you some actual Silph Arena content today. We're not doing Pokemon Go Battle League. I recently started playing Silph just a couple weeks ago, and I enjoyed this this tournament I was in. Let me tell you about it. So Wallower on his Discord server, he and my buddy Greg put together and hosted a Ultra League Silph tournament, and there was cash prizes involved, and it attracted some of the best battlers in the world. And I had the privilege of playing in this tournament, and I went 5-2. So that doesn't sound super amazing, but I went the first four rounds undefeated, and then had just one loss to straight team comps, and then the last one I think I lost due to a technical error in the game, but my opponent won fair and square according to the judges, and I will not dispute that anymore. But however, I got to play some of the best battlers in the world, and I want to tell you all about it. So I didn't record the first three for my first three rounds because I'm a doofus. So I did start recording the games from round 4 on, and this first, now you might recognize this battle. He's one of the best players in the world. He is almost always on the leaderboards, and he's so good at this game, dude. I was sweating the whole time. So I want to go into these battles right now. I put our teams over on the right-hand side here. Again, these are Ultra League Open Tournament battles. So, show 6, pick 3. So, let me tell you about my strategy here. So, he's got Talonflame, he's got Walrein, everything on this team loses to Deoxys. So, naturally, I'm going to bring my Deoxys, and I'm probably going to bring it every game, to be honest. Now, the thing about Deoxys against Talonflame is it's supposed to get to this Rock Slide here before Talonflame can get to its move, and it's still in the Incinerate animation. So, that's why I like using Rock Slide. Now, it also allows me to counter it. Now, this is how the game is supposed to function, so I was kind of happy that it worked out this way. So, opponent goes for the Brave Bird. I'm not shielding this. So, he comes in with the Muck. Now, I expect him to bring the Muck because I have Mewtwo and I have Deoxys on my roster, and I've also got, Greedent's kind of not great against it, but I'm going to bring Greedent in anyway. So, what I've got in this, I basically bring the double Psychic, and I brought my Mewtwo, and it's got Rock Slide for this whole set here. Because the Rock Slide is just so effective against all of his team that I felt it was a very good call to bring it that way. And it's obviously got the Psy Strike too. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and just deal with this Muck, because that is honestly the one thing that I can't really tangle with my other two Pokemon. So, yeah, these battles do take a little while because they're in the Ultra League. But what I'm looking to do here is I'm looking to take this Muck out to keep it away from my Deoxys, because I know that my Deoxys can literally handle the rest of everything else. So he's going to go for Dark Pulse here, and going to be able to actually get his Talonflame out to be able to get an Incinerate off. So excellent move by him. And at this point, I'm shaking, dude. And then I'm going to be able to not get a move off here. Unfortunate, but that just, the game is what it is. I mean, there's always going to be problems. So he's at another move now, though, so I'm going to bring in my Deoxys here. I do have a shield. I'm going to threaten his last shield with this Rock Slide if I can get to it. So Deoxys is just, I think I rode Deoxys through this whole tournament, if I'm being completely honest. It's just so good. I always tell everybody when it comes to Deoxys being in raids, you don't need to raid this thing, just because of the fact that it's not necessary, right? You don't need it. But if you've got it, it's so good, especially in this meta with Trevenant, or not Trevenant. Trevenant actually whoops at Deoxys, by the way. But with Walrein and Talonflame and just all these things that don't necessarily have a good thing to go. Now, so I completely screw this up here, guys. My opponent completely outplays me in this first game. So, unfortunate as it is, and I find out here that a Rock Slide actually doesn't take out an entire Articuno. But that's okay, because I did not have to show my opponent yet that I do have Rock Slide on the Mewtwo, which is going to come in handy later. So he's got his Muck on the lead this time. I'm sticking with the same exact team because I feel like I could have won that last game if I had played it just a bit better. And honestly, his team doesn't have any direct hard counters to my Deoxys. So as long as I can keep the Muck away from Mewtwo and I can deal with the Muck in a way that doesn't completely screw me in the end, I think I'm good. And Greedent just can do really well as a save swap against us. So I'm bringing in the Greedent now, and he is staying in. And I am afraid that he's going to be able to go for a, excuse me, an Acid Spray, but he decides to swap out. Now, he has only showed me Dark Pulse, so I'm still assuming that he's got the Acid Spray because that's typical moveset, but Later I found out he does have Sludge Wave. So he's going to have the Talonflame come in on my green, which is an excellent counter here. He doesn't have the Toxicroak, otherwise I imagine he would have brought it in. So I'm trying to just play this out as best as I can, throwing my moves at the best timing possible. I have to do as well as I can against an opponent of this caliber, and I'm going to be able to get to this other body slam here before he's going to throw a move. Now, that's okay. It's going to be able to threaten shield or take out the Talonflame. Talonflame is a big deal because that thing can explode my whole team if it wants to. Now, I'm not going to shield this. He's low enough now that I can actually farm him down. He's going to go for the Brave Bird, so now I can definitely farm him down. I'm going to hard swap into my Deoxys because my green lived with just a little bit of HP. Just in case we end up in a timeout scenario, I want to be able to keep something alive just in case to win that match. But he does bring in the Muck back in, and I lure it out with my Deoxys on purpose because if he's got something else in the back that my Mewtwo can handle, then that's what I would rather go for. And now I'm trying to count his moves here, and he gets Sumo before I do. I have to shield this in order to keep my Deoxys alive, but I decide not to. It's down far enough that I feel like if I bring in my Mewtwo here, I'm going to be in a good place. And he brings in Articuno. Articuno is scary because Icy Wind is just a pain. But I'm going to save a shield. He only went up to the Icy Wind. But here's the plan, right? So I want to overfarm. My switch clock is up. I just need to get to a couple rock slides. I'm pretty sure that with the confusion damage and the rock slides, I can take this guy. And he doesn't shield because he didn't know I had rock slide. He might have expected the side strike, but now I'm in a position where I can just farm down and win this game. Because of that unexpected moveset, I feel like that was really what it did. And dude, Mewtwo, I rode Mewtwo all the way to the end of this tournament, to be completely honest. Like, almost all the way until the very end, you're going to see Mewtwo in these battles. Deoxys is going to be in a lot of these battles. I was absolutely terrified that he was going to get to a move. But now he's got the Muck in, and I forgot the Muck was alive for a minute. But able to confusion down because he used up all his energy in the last game. Good game. Game 3, Talonflame versus Deoxys. Dream lead. I've got Deoxys all up in here, and I've actually swapped out Greedent for the Scrafty in this case. My expectation here is that if he has the Muck again, which it's usually in the back, if he swaps out, like he did in the first game, I'm going to be able to get in there with my Scrafty and take a commanding lead with the power-up punches and the having the resulting foul play afterwards, which is going to do a lot of damage if I can get enough energy off or have enough power-up punches going. So we do CMP tie, so I'm going to be able to get this rock slide off, and I am hoping here that I'm going to be able to burn his second shield. Burn the second shield, which is absolutely huge. My Deoxys is going to be able to get to the move one turn before his Talonflame, and now I've gotten rid of the Talonflame, which is probably one of the most dangerous things left in the game, and it's gone. Taken out. Here's the Muck. I'm just gonna let him take out my Deoxys here. If he's got Muck right here, my Mewtwo actually wins the matchup against everything else on his team. You see, with the Muck gone and the Talonflame gone, Walrein will not be able to put up with my my Mewtwo if it has Rock Slide. And even Side Strike does a lot of damage. And Rock Slide still hits the Articuno pretty heavily. And if he's got Politoed, I can also win that. But he comes in with Toxicroak, and I counter with the Mewtwo. And Mewtwo is going to farm it all the way down. I don't need to shield this. I'm going to save my shield for that Muck. And it's at this point, ladies and gentlemen, that I had discovered that the game was unlocked. And if that Toxicroak hadn't swapped and had it been anything else, it would have been probably a much closer game. But because of Toxicroak, I was able to farm down, get enough energy off to almost get the 2 rock slides here. My Scrafty's still in the back with energy, and this is a good game to my opponent. So, man, these battles are so sweaty. I hate Ultra League because of how sweaty it is, but really, really good games to my opponent here, and that's good. So, my next opponent here, Mohit 99M. I'm going to swap to our teams real quick here. And this was the teams that he was running. So he completely took me, and spoiler alert, I lose all 3 of these games. But I put up a pretty good fight. My Gliscor has a decent matchup against 4/6 of his team. The Pidgeot is a problem. And he even told me afterwards, he brought the Pidgeot, because like nobody's got counters to Pidgeot. No one's expecting it. And he absolutely right. No one's expecting Pidgeot. I was hoping that wasn't a CMP tie, but it was. So waste of my own energy there. Oh, man, that Pidgeot. The Pidgeot has ended up being screwed me over. And then he counters with the Muk. So at this point, I mean, this entire time I kind of felt like this was going to be a rock, paper, scissors kind of game, just based on the two teams that we had. But, yeah, I mean, there's not really a whole lot that we could do here. You're going to see in just a minute, I'm going to get completely hard countered. I'm trying to get to another Psy Strike here just to see if I can do some chip damage. I'm only going to be able to get one off. Unfortunately, Mewtwo is not bulky enough to withstand one more move, but that's okay. I'm going to get the Gliscor in here, because Gliscor is here because it's supposed to be the counter to the Muk or the other Poison Jab users if I find any. And it was also there for the Gliscor, or not the Gliscor, the, excuse me. It was also there for the G-Fisk if he had one, so I gotta go for Earthquake here. That's the only way I'm going to be able to do anything, but I'm hoping that a Night Slash does enough chip damage for me to be able to save some of my energy. I mean, the only thing I got at this point is Deoxys against the Pidgeot, and he's got 2 shields, so there's really not a whole lot I can do here. Pidgeot's getting low enough, thankfully, that I might be able to Rock Slide it, but I'm going to no-shield this, and if he brings me, he's going to go for the Brave Bird. Does too much damage, and I'm going to farm all the way down. I'm going to be able to get this farm. Well, Pidgeot's out of the way. You would think we're in the clear, right? No, he's got the Muk. I have to shield this, or my energy and my Deoxys all go down. So I'm going to look to counter down and see what he's got in the back. Hopefully it's something that I can deal with, even with my limited HP and resources here. But what he's going to do is he's going to bring in the G-Fisk, and at that point I know I've lost, and there's nothing that I can do. There's no way Deoxys is going to be able to get 2 shields off of this G-Fisk. So at this point, I'm just kind of throwing energy and waiting for him to take me out. Very unfortunate here that this is it's just what happens, man. Rock, paper, scissors sucks. If I had chosen, I was originally, I think, gonna go with the with my Deoxys lead, and I feel like that would have been a much better call. But I was like, man, that in the last 4 rounds before this, the Muk was actually in the lead a lot against me, so I figured maybe he would also do the same thing. But my opponent did not, and he just RPS. But he did very well. I would like to think that I put up a good fight despite getting hard countered on pretty much every turn there. But very well played to him regardless. So this time I wisen up and I bring the Deoxys in, and he meets me with Cresselia. This Cresselia is gonna whoop my butt, dude. I do have Greedent in the back, kind of hoping that I might be able to lure out the Machamp if he brought it, or the G-Fisk. If I can get the G-Fisk low enough, Deoxys can definitely counter it down. But he comes in with Politoed, that's good for me. If he didn't bring anything else to hard counter my team, then I can beat the Politoed here. So what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to just go for as many Body Slams as possible. I'm going to chip this thing down. I do get the Body Slams extremely quickly. And what I like to do in this kind of matchup is I like to farm up as much as I can to try and catch my opponent on alignment. So if I can sneak a move through, great. So now he's got a ton of energy, and he's eventually going to try and threaten me with a big move, I imagine. But he's not building up to it right now, so I'm not afraid of it. Weather Balls are going to do very little damage to Greed, so thankfully I have no need to shield these. So the Body Slams are coming through, and he's not shielding, but I'm going to be able to get like 2 or 3 more Body Slams in here in real quick succession. So eventually he'll either have to shield or let it go down. And so what I'm going to do now is, because he let that go, now I'm farming down. And I feel like he's built up to a really, an Earthquake or a Blizzard. So I'm going to shield this, but he's Weather Ball, dude. 5 head plays, and now he brings in the Crest. And now my only play here is to not get owned by Moonblast. I know he's got Moonblast, though. So I do come in with the Deoxys, and it's at this point I kind of fear that he did bring the Pidgeot again in the back. He is luring out my Deoxys again because, I mean, let's be honest, Cresselia has a really decent matchup against this team. Especially if I didn't bring my Drapion, which I didn't, because he's got G-Fisk and Machamp, and I don't really want to bring it against Politoed either, so I didn't bring the Drapion to this matchup. But my Drapion is super solid. You're going to see it in the later rounds. That Drapion, one of the best things I've ever made for Ultra League. But, yeah, I apologize for how boring these matches can get, dude. It's Ultra League, it's not fun. But it is what it is, so I'm going to farm a bunch of extra energy so that my Deoxys might be able to hit whatever's in the back with some damage. I do go for the Psycho Boost here just to try and get rid of this Crest, but, just enough damage to take it out. And look, there's the Pidgeot. So Green's going to come in, and he's... He's going to just farm it down. I do get the chance to farm down the Politoed, but now I have to spend my last shield or lose all my energy. And that was one of the big mistakes I made. Had I let that go, I think I might have had a chance, but my opponent now has 2 shields to my no shields, and all he's got to do is completely whoop my rear end with a Brave Bird, and that's it. So I will go ahead and throw this Crunch here. I'm hoping for a debuff, but I don't get one. So I'm going to throw another Crunch and hope I get a debuff, and I'm not going to get one. And I just got so unlucky with these debuffs. Now, the Pidgeot's getting so much energy now that it feels like it's just... I mean, he's got to get to a Brave Bird and he wins. And then if I can't get his last shield, my Deoxys getting that Rock Slide now. I'm gonna go for this. But apparently I catch 2 Gusts at one time. So now I've really screwed myself. And I do see that the timer's coming up. There's no way that I'm going to be able to beat this. Yeah, he's going to Brave Bird, and that's going to be the end of the game. Unfortunate as it is. Very close game. Those mechanics... Man, look at how much damage that does. If my green had just a smidgen more HP, might have had a chance. But it's fine. One of the things that I've made a huge mistake was definitely swapping that Deoxys too soon, because it took the 2 Gusts worth of damage before I could get anything off. So he meets me with Cresselia again. I was really hoping again that the Muck would come in, or even maybe he might lead the G-Fisk or the Politoed. But nope, I get met with Cress, so... Probably... I can't bring my Mewtwo in here because it gets hard-walled by the Cress. And Deoxys does not have an excellent matchup here, so I do safe swap it, and here comes G-Fisk. Now here's something interesting, is that G-Fisk actually wins this whole matchup, and that's because all I can do is throw resisted damage. Even though counter is a great move, I'm just not going to be able to get there in time to be able to really put any pressure on this G-Fisk, so he has to basically do nothing but throw Earthquakes, and I will lose this matchup because he's still up shields. And he's still going to be up shields. It's just unfortunate. And this is something that I figured out just from playing GBL. I've played this matchup a bunch, and there's really not much you can do against a G-Fisk. At some point, you're either going to have to swap out or lose the matchup. Now, I do end up losing this matchup on purpose because it's not worth... But I do save my Deoxys with 1 HP. He's going to come back in with the Crest. I did get a little bit more energy, and I do know that my Scrafty can tank at least 1 Moonblast pretty comfortably here. And since I've got so much energy, I'm really hoping that I can take this Crest out. Because Crest, once the Crest is out of the way, as long as he didn't bring the Muck, hopefully Mewtwo will have a better time. Because everything else on the roster, as long as the Muck's not present, I will have play against it. But look at that damage, dude. Oh my gosh. Alright, so I do have to go for the foul play here. My best chances of winning at this point are just hoping that whatever he has in the back is not a really good counter to my Mewtwo. Just get the move off here, and I choose not to shield. I'm going to save my shield because I'm really hoping that Scrafty is no longer necessary here. I am going to bring in Mewtwo to try and farm this down. He brings in Politoed, which is really, really interesting. Now, I think this is game 2. No, I think this is game 3. So we're just kind of playing this one out. But Politoed is not a Mewtwo counter, thankfully. And so with just a couple of side strikes here, I'm going to be able to take this one out. Now, I think this is the 2-1 that he got on me. Maybe I didn't lose all 3 of these, or did I lose all 3 of these? I don't remember. It's been a few days. So, I'm going to go for side strikes here. What I need to do is I need to find a way to deal with the damn G-Fisk that's lurking back there with a little bit of HP. Opponent's got so much energy that you can just throw Weather Balls all day. And what I need to do here is I need to farm this down. Now, I know his G-Fisk has energy, and unfortunately, that's what it is, man. But I expect him to bring his G-Fisk in immediately, but I did not expect it to farm me down. So this was kind of my own undoing, because I was expecting his G-Fisk to swap in, and I was going to try and throw a move at it, but apparently I wasn't at the Rock Slide, so unfortunately I didn't have the chance to do that. So he beats me fair and square. Unfortunately, my own mistake allowed him to do so, but that was a great game on my opponent. So I'm gonna leave this here because there's 4 rounds of this. This is a very long video otherwise. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this one here, and I appreciate you guys checking this out. Part 2 coming soon. Keep an eye out for it because these are some of the better battles, you know. Whew, man. But let me just recap though. Again, so shout out to Wallower for hosting this tournament. Just got into Silph a couple weeks ago. So I'm not going to draw out the outro too much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.